Welcome back to EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. We've got a great episode, or should I say episodes today. It's going to be two parts. And at EQ Video Tip, we're really focused on research. And today's episode is going to be chock full of it. So we're really excited to get started with you. Before we start, I want to remind you that our goal here is to 10x your EQ with daily tips from the EQ newsletter. So let's get into it and do a quick recap of all the goals of EQ Video Tip. You hear that music? It's the sound of vacation. And granted, we all love vacation. So today we're going to talk about an article by Alex Safadi, and he talks about how do we get the most out of our weekends and our vacations. Sounds easy, but we actually need two episodes to figure out how to do this right. Because let's face it, we all love vacation, but at the same time, we've always experienced or we've had experiences where we eagerly await a vacation only to find it slips through our fingers, and before we know it, we're coming back to an overstuffed schedule. We're tethered to our phones, our laptops, and we come back more burnt out than we actually did before leaving on vacation. So today we're going to focus on tips to help make the most out of a weekend or a vacation. And then the second part will be on what to do when we come back. How do we re-enter the business world or the working world? Let's get started. Our first tip, slow down time. Now, last I checked, there's no time stone like in the Marvel movies. And I don't know, I haven't invented time travel just yet. So how do we slow down time? Well, a study in 2017 by the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that if you take a walk in nature, it feels like it lasts longer than if you took a walk in the city. So if you have a chance on a holiday or on a weekend, try to spend some quality time with trees. And that study reported that people who took walks in trees for the same amount of time felt more relaxed and in a better mood than compared to a walk within an urban setting like Park Avenue in New York City. No offense to us New Yorkers out there. If you feel a little more ambitious, you might try out scenery that inspires you, right? And even gives you some awe. So what would that be? That might be a vast mountain scenery or roaring waterfalls or even the ocean. The research shows that if we experience awe, we feel richer in time and more attuned to our surroundings. So hopefully on your weekend, find an hour just to take a walk in the forest or in nature, or find something that's going to inspire you with awe. Tip number 2, travel with a lens or a purpose when you go to a location. Have you ever gone on vacation and you feel like that was kind of aimless? I wandered around a city or we were somewhere, but it just didn't click for me. Something didn't happen. Well, it's probably because you didn't have a purpose or an aim within your travel. Former Quartz reporter Nikhil Sanan suggests finding a purpose or a lens for a location. So what does that exactly mean? Well, if you're going to a location, choose a pursuit or something that you think is a particular topic of interest for you and whoever you're traveling with. This might be a literary history or a shopping spree for wedding dresses or a culinary tour or something that's going to engage you in the region and make you feel more immersed to the people who live there. When you have that lens, at the end of the day or the end of your vacation, you're going to feel as if you really got to know the place. So try traveling with a lens. Number 3, for those of us with a hectic schedule, and I think that's pretty much everybody out there, Laura Vanderkam, the author of the book 168 Hours, You Have More Time Than You Think, has some great tips for us. She recommends a time tracking spreadsheet. Now, you're probably saying, I already have enough spreadsheets and I have enough calendars at work. Why would I want to do something? Well, she has 5 kids, believe it or not. And with 5 kids, there's not a lot of time to squeeze in extra activities, and there's not a lot of time for downtime. But the time tracker actually helped her identify windows where she could unwind and she could find times more enjoyable. She actually said that she might have a 2 to 3 hour block where there was spare time, her kids were in bed at night, and knowing that she had that free time encouraged her to think about how she might use it. So instead of checking that quick email or looking to tidy up the house, she actually used that time to do puzzles or read a book or do other things to help her relax. This is important not only for your holidays, but also for your weekends and your nights when work is done. So before you say you have no time, figure out a way to schedule some time for you in that hectic schedule. Our final tip, how to make the memories last. Pretty simple. Take photos and souvenirs and put them on display in your home. Now, a study in 2016 published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology finds that we don't spend as much time reminiscing about our daily experiences on vacation as we think we will. And it doesn't count if you put your pictures on social media. So don't just try to put it on Facebook or somewhere else. It's actually important to put physical reminders of our happy memories in readily accessible places around our home. So when you go on that vacation, take some pictures, remind yourself of what a great time, and spring for a souvenir or two that will remind you of that great trip that you had with your friends, family, or even by yourself. Hopefully that helps. We covered a lot of tips today, so thank you for your time. Here's a quick recap before we conclude. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ video tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.